Hi girls, this is Melissa. Welcome to my kitchen, and Paula, especially welcome you to my kitchen. I have been debating on what dish did I want to do that hasn't had a lot of familiarity yet, and I came up with this great recipe, and guess what it's using? Squash. I thought I was going to be the only one with the wonderful creative mind, and lo and behold, you and I, darling, we're on the same path. So I'm going to share with you today a recipe that I make with squash that is really, really yummy. And it doesn't take that long to cook either. So let's see what I can show you. What we're going to be using today is squash, and I have the squash and red peppers here. This is a package of squash, fresh, and one whole red pepper that I've julienned. And in that, I'm going to add onions, blue cheese, fried onions, and the best flavor at all. Today, I'm using the Philadelphia cream cheese garden vegetable. So to prepare the squash, I have this wonderful pan. It's called a caraco pan, and this is done with no juices of any kind. And you put the vegetables in here, and this is 10 ice cubes. So those are going to go right in there. And this is done because it steams the vegetables, and let me tell you, every bit of flavor that is in these squash and in this pepper is going to be fabulous. So I'm going to put this over here on the back burner, and I'm going to turn it on high and let that cook. And if you don't have this type of pan, you can just boil your vegetables in water, but you want to do a slight boil so they're still a little bit crispy on the outside. So next we're going to work on the sauce for the squash and the peppers. We're going to begin with 4 tablespoons of margarine. And we're going to put this in our pan. I have my pan on medium-high heat right now. So we're going to drop that butter right in there. And we're going to get a spoon. So we're just going to melt the butter here. And then as it starts to really soften, we're going to add the cream cheese to our dish. So that's just melting away. And Paula, I must tell you that I tried so hard to come up with something that was so different than what anyone had decided. And I made the decision to make this dish on Sunday after the submissions were over for the dessert week. And I started looking at all the bloggings and everything, and let me tell you, your dish looks awesome. And I started looking at all the blogging introductions and chat that was going on, and I was encouraged with all of the blogs that I read about how people were excited about squash, and it was too many vegetables that are stuck in their garden because they don't know what to do with it. And I kind of shied away from the recipe at first, but then I thought, you know what, why not? You and I, Paula Dean, can celebrate squash together. And it is a fabulous vegetable. It has a tremendous amount of flavors, and it really is good. So I decided, I'm jumping on your tails. I'm going to follow you, and we're going to celebrate squash together. Oh, and you know what? I need to add those onions, silly. So the onions are in. And that was a small onion that was chopped up but not fine, because you have the length of the julienne of the peppers, the circles of the squash. So I wanted to get bite-sized pieces of the onions, but not too small, because I'm trying to do this also symmetrically. So this is coming along. I'm going to turn it up to 7 now. So that's more of a higher medium heat. This is coming along quite nicely. So I am going to add in our blue cheese. This is crumbled blue cheese, and it is 5 ounces. So we're going to dump that right in here. Look at that. This is the blue cheese and the Philadelphia cream cheese garden vegetable. Okay, ladies, my pan is whistling, so that means that my vegetables are done. So I'm going to take them off from back here on the burner. Here it is, getting all nice and bubbly. Woo-wee, that looks good. My next step, I'm going to turn the oven on to 350. I'm going to take these vegetables that are well soaked and I'm going to put them in our casserole dish. Look at all that yumminess. Okay, my oven's on, my rest of my burners are off, always safety. And I'm going to spread this around in here. And I have a little bit of parsley that I'm going to put on for a garnish on this dish. And sometimes when I get back from the grocery store, my garnish, cilantro, parsley, the Italian parsley, any of that is very droopy and sad. And I don't like sad vegetables in my house. So what I like to do is soak them in water. And here I have taken some of the leaves off the parsley that's soaking in the water, and I am going to cut them. I'm using this as garnish, as I mentioned. And I'm just cutting this up. And I really like using the scissors on the herbs because when I use them with my hands, they get really sticky, and I just don't like that. So I decided to do this one day in my kitchen, and it has caught on. Let me tell you, my mother does it, my sister does it. Who knows who they've taught? But we all like to tell kitchen stories and kitchen tricks to make our lives a little easier. This is definitely one of them. Okay, and now I am going to sprinkle on some of the fried onions. So we're going to sprinkle that on top. I want you guys to take notice that I have not put any salt or any pepper on these vegetables. That probably seems pretty strange to you guys, but I do it because it helps the flavor of the vegetables, the natural beauty and the nutrients of the vegetables show. So that was intentional. Okay, now this is going to go into the oven for about 10 minutes, and everything is cooked. This is just to blend the ingredients together so they all pick up each other's flavors. That's why we're putting it in the oven. Middle rack preferred. And notice no tin foil, none of that. So I'm going to put my timer on. The reason I'm not using tin foil is tin foil helps to keep moisture in, and this will be an incredibly flavorful dish, and I don't want to have all of the ingredients. That's the beeper from my oven, it's ready. I don't want to have more liquid brought into the dish. That's why I'm not using the foil. So we'll see you back in 10. All right, I'm going to add my little green garnish. Look at that. That is just fabulous. Yay, the best part. Oh. Wow, it's really hot. And wow, is it outstanding. Enjoy this recipe and see what else you can do with squash.